Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for actually spending your time, taking your precious time and coming to spend it with me. I'm Great Ashton, and well, this is my process. So now I want to move into my day, what I managed to do today. Let me just wrap this part of what I'm working on, what I'm struggling with, what I'm building, and where am I going, and where am I coming from, and where I'm at right now. Part of this whole thing, it's been a wild journey. 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 3 months back, finding this whole thing called copywriting. Life was at a very different level altogether. Like I said, living in rural South Africa and with the least amount of resources. Obviously I have my studio and things were not working out well. Life is at its lowest, and a lot of things are not going well, and it was just like a different ball game altogether. So yeah, but in the midst of everything, those things that I was trying to put up, that's when I was doing farming. I had quite a gardening project that was actually going well, not well, but enough to sustain me, have something to eat, from the garden, and growing to actually sell, because I was selling spinach and all that kind of stuff, which was pretty cool. I was eating from it, and I was also selling just to survive and all that. And we so happened to actually create a bigger project that I think our first test project was actually almost 10,000 plants of spinach that we started. But within all of these projects that I was working on, I knew that I needed something that was better. And I wasn't looking at where I'm at. I was having a global mindset. And that's when the idea of the book started popping in. So wherever I'm at, I need to come up with something that's going to pull me out of this rut. And it was something that really forced me to actually think global. Because when I started the whole digital marketing thing, I think from 2020, there was a girl that walked me into this whole YouTube thing. That's when I got introduced to YouTube. There's this white girl that used to be in my world at that time, and she introduced me to YouTube. She was doing some cool stuff, and I'm like, bro, you always doing some cool stuff and all that kind of jazz. She's like, bro, you should check YouTube. You should actually. From the very time that she walked me through it, I even bought this pillow. That was in 2020. I bought this pillow, and yeah, that's when I started getting interested in YouTube. Started learning, and every time we would meet and we would talk about what I learned, and she would tell me about what she's working on and all that kind of stuff. She was doing some cool graphics and all that kind of stuff. They had an amazing project. They had amazing projects going on and all that kind of stuff. So that's separate on this. That's a journey on its own. I don't want to lie to you. So getting to a point where I got, what I'm saying, three months back. As much as it was bad, I was forced to actually think global, to really, pull my mind out of where I was to start thinking global and beyond. Because I knew that thinking global alone was going to be able to really suffice me, because I was actually going a spiritual battle in some way. So I was forced to think global and beyond global, to say there is so much humans can actually do to actually save your life and pull you out of a situation that you are in, but you need to think beyond. and what's beyond what's global. And something that's beyond what's global is God. And that's when I developed this mindset, and it started showing different, like angles to life. Like there's a verse that always comes to my mind, which says, "Seek ye the kingdom of God, and everything else shall be given to you." Although I found it hard to actually like really understand what that means, somewhere along the line I stumbled upon like what it really means, and I'm grateful to even understand what that means. Though like as a human being, I'm coming from a worldly perspective of life. Though I was a Christian, but like obviously the things that we do, not being good, not being enough, and all that kind of stuff, you go in wild things, you do wild things, and things that you regret in life. But like I'm coming from that background, and so coming to that position where all of this is happening, and you just like seeing things unfold in a way that you didn't expect. But I'm not talking about breakthroughs in like huge amounts of revenue, but just a mental breakthrough. To me, it was more than enough. It was welcoming, and it was so comforting. And the series that followed afterwards were just like crazy. They were so wild. Like I remember getting kicked out 10 p.m. and being chased around, like within a yard and all that kind of stuff. Like getting chased out, like kicked out 10 p.m. at night. I didn't even have airtime. I didn't even have data to call no damn body. Like it was just like the worst thing that happened within that period of time. But when everything was just like taken outside, I had to take my stuff outside, like my music equipment, and put it on the grass, and it was wet, like outside. I'm standing there, I'm like, yo, I'm not even gonna stress myself. Even if I'm gonna sleep right here, like I'm gonna sleep, like what must I do? Like what must I do? Why must I worry myself and all that? It was cold as, I'm not gonna say what I wanted to say here on YouTube, but like, or not on YouTube. I'm not gonna say what I want to say here. It's just not right. But like it was cold, like cold. So with that being said, I only took out my cigarette because I was smoking. I still working on like quitting smoking and all that kind of stuff. But like I was smoking, and I just took out my cigarette, light it up. I was like, let me calm my nerves. I lit my cigarette and I just stood there, just smoking my pain away. And my neighbor showed up, and she was like, "Gray, what's happening?" And I explained to her what happened and all that kind of stuff. They offered me like a place to stay. Thank God. So everything else panned out, everything else, it was downstream from there. I started learning copywriting within that moment, when I actually like moved in with them. As I'm actually like helping them with the gardening stuff and all that. In fact, I pulled out of the project that we had started together, because me and the neighbors, we actually like put a project together that then became that spinach project that I was talking about. And I still kept on helping them actually, even though I pulled out and saying like, okay, I don't want anything to do with the returns or the profits that it's going to make, but I'll still help out since we started the project and all that kind of stuff. A huge piece of land, a beautiful place. I would never forget this place where I've been, especially I'm around these people that were so generous, so kind, and such a cool people to be around. Like I'll never forget the families that I was around when I was just like doing this whole thing, because they made it beautiful. Even if I was going through some tough times, even if I was going through some challenges, they just made it beautiful. They made it so damn beautiful. It was so damn beautiful. Anyways, so going through all of that, started learning copywriting. Started learning copywriting. Imagine like we're drinking water from the river. I'm fetching water from the river in the morning. There's some gardening to be done, and all those type of things. Like the typical rural things to do and all that kind of stuff. Like you're doing that in the midst of doing that. Like I'm actually like learning copywriting, and I'm talking about this is within a period of like 2 to 3 months back from now, right? So that's what makes everything interesting, and how God has been pulling through and everything that I've been doing lately and all that. So that's my entire story. That's where I'm coming from. It was just like one of these situations that when I look back, I smile. Because I'm at the ultimate stage or point in life that I need to be, but like the resilience, being able to handle that. When I look back, I'll be like, but you're a man, So in some odd ways, it gives me chills. Like right now, I'm actually like feeling chills, to even acknowledge the fact that I went through it, shed sweat, tears and blood, but I'm still here today. I'm still here, and I'm even in front of the camera, and I'm even documenting my journey. And I know there's a lot of people that would want to have the similar privileges that I have right now, but possibly they don't have. You know what I mean? So, man, I'm just grateful. So yeah, with that being said, let me just carry on with this whole thing. I've managed to be consistent with creating content. I feel like the past 2 days I've managed to be consistent with creating content, especially on Threads and LinkedIn. And Threads and LinkedIn, I've been doing well. I only skipped creating content on LinkedIn yesterday, of which I'm not planning on doing that. Like anytime this week. I want to make sure that I sleep late. Now I'm starting to get back to my old days, where I normally like just like stay up, and just try to sort out what's not sorted out and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Just making sure that everything is on the roll. Like I'm at par with everything. I have slacked on a few things. I've slacked on delivery part of things. I have systems actually, but I didn't have a system for everything. I got a system from one person. So trying to make everything fall in that particular, I feel like the fear to fail one person who was actually paying me money, or the most amount, has led me to not prioritize other people. And I feel like that's dangerous. But at least I'm protecting my source of revenue, which I feel like that's smart. But nonetheless, that's what's been going on. And I have a mentee, and I'm planning on, I have a mentee. We're on a call today. We were speaking about his sales call that he's actually going to be on with his client. So I'm helping him get clients online, sales, how to set appointments and all that, since I went through something like that, and it's still getting better, but it does not have the experience that I have. So I have to, walk him, through his journey and all that kind of stuff. So we had our call in the morning, and it was a great chat. I managed to create content for my client, and I got on a call with the agency in Pakistan, and we spoke about a lot of things. We discussed availability, we discussed the strategy to achieve results for the onboarded clients, the few clients that they have now, and we also need to get back to them with the strategy to actually the fulfillment for that particular client, and how we're going to go about managing that particular client. So that's that. We also spoke about communities. We also spoke about setting up Notion, so we can run our systems from there. We could run everything, wikis, everything on Notion basically. So yeah, and we need to do the same thing for the client and all that kind of stuff. So we kind of just discussed strategies and all that, which was pretty interesting. Every time I get on these calls, I get excited, and getting excited, I don't know, I just feel fulfilled when I get on this, because it's doing something that I like, helping someone grow with the things that I learned within my journey, and just having more experience than what they have, and being able to help out. I feel like, to me, that's pretty much exciting. So I hung out with Mongezi. Like, Mongezi is my friend, and Mongezi, like, me and him would come a long way. And like, we met before any of this happened, when I was still in the music industry, and it's so interesting that he's also into the things that I am. We're all into, digital marketing, creating content. He's growing his thing, I'm growing my thing, and I get to help him where I need to help him. But he's such a clued out person. Enjoy having conversations with him. That he liked the video concept that I was pitching to him. Said like, yo bro, like, I need to create this common community thing. I need to be recording videos, like, so people can see what's happening in the back end, can see the processes, can see what I'm building, can see the challenges and the distractions and disturbances, whatever, all the other things, call it names, call it whatever you want to call it, but all the things that is happening in this journey. So I want to create a community of people that will be, like, following up. I get to help them, like, build their businesses as well, and all that kind of jazz. So yeah, he liked the concept. I said like, yo bro, it's a goal, like, if we could pull out something like this, that'd be what's up. So we also spoke about like something that I need to do in terms of like my content, the content that I want to create, and all that, like the variations of the content that I need to dive in terms. I feel like this is where the YouTube concept comes in, because now that I'm actually like speaking about it, the idea of wanting to be on YouTube for lead generation and also documenting the journey is actually like inevitable. So I feel like this is where it comes in to is about it. But yeah, overly, generally running this kind of like, to me, I don't know, like, if I should call it a business. It's still a journey. It's more like freelancing than it is a business, because I feel like it will become a business when I'm no longer involved, when I have people doing certain things, and I'm not, the whole entire business no longer dependent on me. So to me, it still feels like it's still a hustle, or it's a freelancing thing, because that's what it feels like to me. So, but in of itself, like, the journey has been interesting. Like, it's the most interesting thing that I've ever had. Okay, I know my childhood was interesting, but like, this is something similar, basically. Yeah, like, I feel like anyone's childhood, like, when they grew up in Africa, like, it's the most interesting thing that you could ever have. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much to do out here. The opportunity to being laid back, or have stayed a bit behind, where you could still have the opportunity and the privilege to still tap into how things were done in the older days, in the ancient days, and all that kind of stuff, and still being able to step your foot in the 21st century world, and still being able to manage, like, between both worlds. I feel like that's interesting. So yeah, but anyways, just wrapping up like everything that has been that's been going on, and all of that. Thank you so much, man. If you're a person that is also growing, and possibly you got things that you would like to share, you'd actually want to maybe like share some ideas, you got the comment section to do that in. If you would want us like network, you want us to actually like connect, I got Instagram, where I'm actually like active. I'm most active on Instagram, or Threads. Like, it's Threads been like, it's been bomb actually. I'm loving Threads. My client loves Threads, and there's just something that's happening on Threads. It's easy to create connections. It's easy to get customers, even. So yeah, yeah, if you're a person who actually want to connect or something like that, like you'll always shoot me a DM on Instagram. Then we can get to chat. We can get to, like talk about some cool things that we can do together and all that kind of stuff. Like I'll be having a podcast on the way soon. Not so sure when, but right now I'm actually like still figuring out like, okay, how am I gonna go about it and all that kind of stuff. That's one of the projects that I'm working on currently. So yeah, if that sounds interesting to you and you feel like maybe we could pop something up and all that, that would be cool. So surely hit me up. My Instagram thingy will be actually like in a section, whatever. I know there's a section somewhere, and I know there's a place somewhere where you're gonna find the Instagram. You just shoot me a DM and let's get to talking. It's nice to connect, it's nice to chat. So I feel like this video is gonna land in the ears of some cool people. So if you are here and you have made this far, you're one of the coolest people that I'm actually going to meet, and I'm actually like down to meet. Catch up.